Thank you very much. Your Excellency, Mr. Mishra, and some amazing people in the audience. It's an honor and a privilege for me today to be here to address the U.S. Youth Advisory Council. Because I always, as many of you may know, love talking to the youth, for I believe it is you that will carry this country forward. But today, more than ever, I was thinking, what should I talk about? And the natural topic that came to my mind was leadership. Because today, when I look at you and I look in your eyes, I not only want to share what I view about leadership, but I want to look and have the confidence that the future of this country is better than its past because all of you are here. That's what I would like to start off with, is you. Don't start off with looking at me or those of us on the dais or those in 601 of us in the Constituent Assembly. But start the day, start this conference by looking inside you, looking at what it is that is in you that will add value to this country. Not long ago, a few months back, a young man from Nepal was part of a team in NASA that discovered water on Mars. You must have read about it. I read about it as well. I was so proud that day when I opened the paper. I said, wow, look at this. Nepal ko chhorale ke garyo ha yesto. Nepali hunuma garv bhayo malai. Mars ma pani and a Nepali boy. A lot of beard and fringy hair and all, but still a boy from Nepal. Bidambana hamro ke cha. Ajo bihana pani 5 baje, 5:30 baje. In our capital city, we open our taps and there is no water. And we wonder, when will we get water over here? While a youth of Nepal finds water in Mars, we are yet to get water in our taps. Why? Today in the Middle East, the Far East, Africa and Alaska, the unskilled and semi-skilled Nepali is using his brawn, pasina bagaera kaam garera Nepali ko naam garv gariracha. You go to the tallest building in the world in Dubai. As you walk in after buying a ticket, you see many faces there of people who helped build that building. And in those faces are many faces of Nepali youth. I feel so proud. If you go to Europe, to America, to Australia, you find Nepalese youth using their brains to be the best doctors, to be the best engineers, businessmen, social workers. Buddhi chalaera Nepali le Nepal ko naam garv gariracha videshma. The question before us is, why not here? We seem not to lack the brain or the brawn to excel in our work everywhere in the world. But why not here? Why not in Nepal? I believe we are where we are as a nation, not because the youth is lazy, or the youth is demotivated, or the youth only knows how to burn tires and close streets. I believe we are where we are because people like me, people like those in positions of power with fancy visiting cards, the leaders and managers of this country have failed this country. Not the youth, not the people, but people like me. We have not been able to give the leadership that this nation requires to build an environment where buddhi chalaera hos ya pasina bagaera hos Nepali ko chhora chhorile Nepalmai basera Nepal ko vikas गर्ने एउटा वातावरण बनाउनै सकेनौं हामीले. For that simple reason, you will find Nepalese everywhere now. I think after the Sikh, the Nepali is the one population that is in every corner of the world. Because people like me failed people like them. I believe it is a huge leadership void that we have in this nation that is responsible for where we are today. I see many of you nodding, a lot of you agreeing to that. Yes, leadership void. These politicians have led us down a dismal road of despair. Yes, we have definite problems with our politicians. There is a void in political leadership. There is no doubt about it. But today, I want you to think a little more. For it is not only the void in political leadership that has brought us where we are today. Yes, there is corruption, there is inaction, there is patronage, everything there is in politics. But that, I don't believe, is the sole reason why we are where we are today. The leadership void I talk about is not limited to politics. Talk about our bureaucracy, where finance secretaries have to resign because they go after people who don't pay tax. Home secretaries are transferred because the home minister doesn't like the way you look. Where is our bureaucratic leadership? Where is that strength, that voice in the bureaucracy that says we will do the right thing no matter what, instead of running to political parties to get the right secretarial or posting or transfer? Where is the leadership in the bureaucracy, which is supposed to be the backbone of this country? Along with the bureaucratic leadership, I want to talk about social leadership. Social leaders should be those that unify us, that bring us together, that make us feel proud to be one nation. How many of you are Thakuris? Raise your hand. Only me? Okay. And Newars? Brahmins? Janjatis? Now I ask you, in the context of the new Nepal, what made you think you could sit the way you're sitting? Is it to offend me? Why aren't all the Thakuris sitting together, and the Janjatis sitting together, and the Newars sitting together? Isn't that what the new Nepal demands? Why do you talk to each other? Why do you share your knowledge with another ethnic group? Doesn't that bring you down? Give them an undue advantage? Isn't that what our social leaders are telling us? Is that true social leadership? Is that the leadership that the youth, the students, the civil society wants to hear? Am I Thakuri first and Nepali later? Am I Shah first and Nepali later? Are you Newar first and Nepali later? Nepali रहेन भनेदेखि कहाँ रहन्छ ठकुरी, कहाँ रहन्छ नेवार, कहाँ रहन्छ जनजाति? But is that what our social leaders tell us? Where is our social leadership? And in my field, economic leadership, doing business in Nepal means evading tax, paying as little as possible to the worker, making them work in an environment that would possibly not be fit for keeping animals. That's doing business in Nepal. त्यसो नगरेर पैसै बन्दैन नि. Is that the visionary economic leadership? VAT छल्ने अरबौं रुपियाँको? Where is the economic leadership in our country? Is that the sort of economic leaders that you all look up to and learn from and say, "Hey, मैले पनि business गरे भने म पनि त्यही गर्नुपर्छ." The first thing you ask is, how do I evade VAT and tax? Is that the economic leadership that's going to build a nation? And labor leadership, we all know, needn't say. The labor leaders build big houses, drive big Pajeros, and the poor laborer gets poorer and poorer. Where is labor leadership that looks after the leadership, the interest of the labor and not the interest of the labor leader? So when I talk about a leadership void, I talk about a void that is present right across this nation. Not only in the 601 people sitting in a big White House writing on a piece of paper, not very successfully. I talk about a leadership void in you, in me, in all of us. A leadership void that I don't think my generation will be able to fulfill. But I am confident that yours will. Because there are groups like this that come together and think, and talk, and bond, and have a vision, a shared vision for what our Nepal should be. And whether you are in bureaucracy, in the private sector, in the social sector, in labor leadership, in political leadership, which I hope some of you will go into, that leadership void will slowly, slowly be filled. I have faith in this country, and I choose to be in Nepal, not because the hosts of today did not give me a visa, or I don't have a work permit to go to the land down under, but I choose to be in Nepal for one reason. Because I want my daughter, who is today 11 years old, to also live in Nepal and choose to live in Nepal. And I have confidence that she will because of people like you, because of the youth of this country. We are a young country. 70% or more of our population is under the age of 35. We are a young country that is ready to reap its demographic dividend if we can build the right environment. For a young population is only good if you can give an environment in which they can produce, they can build productive lives, and they can contribute to society. In another life, in the past, I was with people who we have now thrown out in a country called Kuwait. And there the Sheikh, the Crown Prince of Kuwait, was talking, and he said, you guys have got it all wrong. You all come and you keep asking us, please give us more work permits, please take more Nepalese, please this, please that. Do you realize that if we don't take people from Nepal or other countries, we can't build our country? And this was just, the buildings were still torn down after the Iraq war. None of us are going to go out there in that heat and build that building, or clean that road, or build that garden, or drive my car. You have to look at yourselves as equal partners and say, yes, we have the brawn, we have the brain that you need. You have the money that we need. How can we talk? We have to see that this demographic dividend has to somehow happen in Nepal and not only in Kuwait and Qatar, not only in Australia and America. I'm optimistic for one reason, as I said, and that optimism springs from the youth of Nepal, from all of you, people like you. Look around you. You are catalysts of change. You are the person or the people that a lot of people look up to. You are fortunate to be part of this group, not because of the caste, creed, or who you know, but because you deserve it. र नेपाललाई साँच्चै नै विकास गर्ने हो भनेदेखि जसरी यो ग्रुप फर्म भयो त्यही एउटा सोचले हामीले नेपाललाई फर्म गर्नुपर्छ अनि त्यो सोच भनेको हाम्रो होइन राम्रोलाई प्राथमिकता दिनुपर्छ. Not because I am ठकुरी, not because I am from some political party do I get opportunity, but because of my capabilities. And if you look at filling this leadership void, then what do people like you do? Where do you go? What is it, the sectors of the economy that Nepal needs to really focus on? And I think we've gone down the wrong path for many years. We can never make Nepal India or China or America or Australia. We have to look, just like each of you did, at our nation's core competencies. I don't know what our social, economic, social, cultural, religious core competencies may be, but the economic core competencies, I have an idea. And I believe there are 5 pillars on which we have to base our economic structure. The first is agriculture. How many of you come from families of farmers? I'm so glad you put up your hand. Hamro bidambana ke cha bhanedekhi in agriculture we need to put 2 things. We need to put the pride back in agriculture and we need to enhance the productivity. By the pride I say Nepalko kisanko chora ra chori mero bua kisan, mero mua kisan भन्नु लजाउँछ. मेरो बुवा मुवा दोहामा टोयलेट सफा गर्छ भन्नु लजाउँदैन. जबसम्म बच्चाले आफ्नो बुवा मुवाको किसान हो भनेर गर्वसँग भन्न सक्दैन त्यो बेलासम्म कोही पनि किसान हुन चाहदैन. We need to put the pride back in agriculture and we need to put the productivity back. Not look at how much land to give but how to make the productivity enhanced. Not 1 crop, not 2 crops but 3 crops need to come out of the land that we have in Nepal. Second, after agriculture, is tourism. The world wants to come to Nepal, from the mountains to the temples to the stupas to the Nepali people to the wildlife. The world wants to come, the world wants to see. But we need to ensure that the benefits of tourism go beyond the urban centers and 5-star hotels to a more inclusive approach to see how the eggs, the chicken, the pork that we serve in these hotels, restaurants and lodges come from the farmers of Nepal. Third is infrastructure. On infrastructure, we have 3 things we need to do. One is hydro, which everyone knows. पहिला, when I was growing up, they used to say, हरियो बन नेपालको धन. आज नरह्यो बन नआयो धन. अहिले हामी के भन्छौँ भनेदेखि प्रगतिको खानी नेपालको पानी. यो खानी रित्तेला र पानीले के प्रगति नल्याउला भन्ने पनि डर भइसक्यो. But we need to focus on hydro. Second is cement. We have huge limestone quarries. Both India and China want cement to develop. We must boom our cement production. And third is transport and transit. Between India and China, we are the logical path of railways, highways that link these 2 massive economies. And you say, transit? How can you make money on transit? I say, go to Hong Kong, go to Singapore. That's all they do. Ship containers around the world. After that, the 4th one is the service sector. And that's where all of you come in. We're a young country, a country where English is a predominantly well-spoken language. Along with that, I think banking, health, education, business process outsourcing, all these need to be attracted to Nepal. And the 5th and final and most important is, I think, skill and productivity development. There are 2 myths about Nepal. One is that we are a small country, and the second is that we are a poor country. We are not a poor country. Sirif hamro soch garib cha. We are a very rich country in terms of natural resources, much richer than many other countries. And we are a small country, no sir. We are, I think, the 39th or 40th largest country in the world if you take our population into account. But this population we look at as a liability. We have to convert this into an asset by enhancing skills, by enhancing productivity. Today, every company in the world wants to come to India. Why? Not to develop India, because they see that huge population. We need to make the same of the millions and millions of Nepalis. We need to make the Nepali population an asset. Leaders in all realms have to stop saying, I want to make Nepal into a Singapore and Switzerland, or an America or Australia. We want to make Nepal the best that Nepal can be. And that we can do by focusing on these 5 core competencies of our nation. I believe, again, because I believe in all of you and the youth of Nepal, that this is possible. As you look forward into your careers, I come to the end of what I have to say. On a personal note, I would like to say, all of you, regardless of what you do in your lives, go after one objective, and that objective is to be happy. Happiness, if we make that your objective, sounds simple, but you will get everything you want. To be happy, I think each of us has a unique happiness formula. Don't try to follow my happiness formula or His Excellency's or Mr. Mishra's happiness formula. Find out what is your happiness formula. Once you find out what your happiness formula is and you go after that, you will not only be happy, you will be successful, you will get everything you want. The ingredients of happiness are the same for everyone. From my talk, if you take one thing away, is the 5 competencies of this economy and this happiness formula. To some of us, there are 5 ingredients to the happiness formula as well. Everything I say is given in a handout, so you don't need to write it down. The first is family. Your near and dear ones, friends, family. For some of us, family is very important. For some of us, we need to make time in our calendar to find some family time. How important is family to you? The next is health. We all say we want to be healthy, but do you smoke? Do you drink? Do you do drugs? How many times a week do you exercise? How important really is health? The third is money. To some of us, the more money we have, the happier we are. To some, money is just a way of pet palne ko euta bato matrai ho. How important is money to you? Power. To some people, authority and social status is extremely important. To others, it means absolutely nothing at all. What about to you? And finally, knowledge and spirituality. Informal and formal knowledge, and the quest to learn about yourself, your soul, your God. How important is that? These 5 ingredients are common to every man, woman, and child in their pursuit of happiness. How much of each you need is up to you to decide. I think once you get your happiness formula, find out what your core competencies are, like your nation's core competencies, map those 2 together and move forward. I look forward to you working in whatever fields you choose and adding value to our nation. As a nation, we have overcome many hardships in our history to get to where we are today. Our forefathers have given us a heritage and culture that the world looks upon with pride. The question before us now is, what are we as our generation adding to the fabric of this country? Are we adding value so that future generations will say, oh, inherle po garera dekhayo? Or are we going to be a generation that future generations will want to forget about? Carpe diem, it means seize the day. Don't just seize the day, seize today. The youth, like you, are always told that the future is yours. Don't believe that. It's told by people like me. The future is not yours. The present is yours. If you continue to wait for the future to be yours, your life will go by. Seize today and tell people like me, no, not the future, sir. The present is mine. As youth, do not believe people like me who tell you to wait, your time will come. I love the thing that said under 30. Great. This is the first time I've heard that under 30 is youth. People need to stop calling me a youth leader. I'm way past that. And definitely Sher Bahadur ji at 65 is past being a youth leader, I think, as well. Sushil Koirala is also a youth leader at 80 or something. I don't know when you guys are ever going to get your chance, you know. It's amazing. You know, we are all youth leaders. We're all youth forever. But I'm glad, 30 and under. It's wonderful. So let us commit, not just to look for faults in the so-called leaders out there, but first and foremost to look inside each of us and look at what leadership skills do we have, and constantly better those skills through meetings, conferences, daily life, whatever you do every day. Let us all commit to working together as Nepalese, regardless of your caste, your creed, or ethnicity, to contribute towards building an environment, a Nepal, whose tomorrow will be better than our yesterdays, a nation in which we and future generations that follow can live peacefully and build prosperous lives. Because of the youth like you and the fire I see in your eyes, I choose to continue to live in Nepal. Because I believe, even if my generation couldn't, your generation will surely ensure that our tomorrows will be better than our yesterdays. And I believe in my old age, because of your commitment and dedication and drive, my daughter too will choose, just like me, to continue to live in this country. Thank you very much and all the best.